company, seeing who you're meeting with. It just gets you to like one level up for the interviewing. Takes at least a little of the stress off. Doesn't mean they're not stressful, but if you know as much as you can and have that in your back pocket before you walk in for an interview, you have a little bit of a security blanket.
I think I'd say two things. I think in maybe one of the old episodes when I was on, we talked about don't burn bridges, right? Like continue to look at every opportunity as an opportunity. So when you're talking, building relationships with people, at my old role, they've been very instrumental in my new role, either helping me, even get some work, but also, just helping me connect up with other people and I'd say keeping it real. Like they help me keep they're good people to talk to, saying I'm facing this problem, or keep me laid abreast of what's going on in the industry. Very helpful. And that connection, those things are one of the reasons I'm in my role. So I think that's one of the pieces I think about. The second piece is really around every experience I had when I searched, and I had my highs and lows, right? There are days I'm like, I'm going to get something. I'm not worried. I'm in a really good space. And then there are days like, okay, I just had an interview and I just got a rejection, right? Every one of those pieces, whether I went on an interview, whether I got rejected for one, whether a recruiter didn't call me back or whatever, was a good growth experience for me to help me understand, create fortitude in me, to help me keep focused on, I do know things are going to work out, but I'm going to have to learn through this. I'm going to have to learn what works and what doesn't work. And I'd never been through this. So all those pieces are experiences, much like being at work, right? Sometimes you're going to do things and draw on your knowledge. Some things are going to work and some things are not going to work. But they all should add to the foundation to help you grow as a individual and as a person at work in your professional experience. I took the same mentality. So I tell our friends out there who are doing the same, who are in the same situation, to, as hard as it can be, to use every experience, positive, neutral, or negative, as a experience to help drive your foundation and your growth, and help be part of your who you are moving forward.
I think that's excellent advice. I mean, both of you, that was great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
The one thing that someone actually told me at one point was a business associate that I respected, and she had a lot of connections, said, go onto my LinkedIn page and look at all the people that I know. And if there's somebody you want an introduction for, let me know. And then, we'll write something together and I'll send it off. And that to me was also another good, kind of bit of advice that I got, along with the podcast.
All great tidbits.
Absolutely. It's all about reaching out.
Reaching out and looking at it as a learning opportunity. Mm-hmm. Like not taking any of this stuff personally, because you can get yourself into a funk and a little bit depressed. Some people, if they don't see traction, but look, it's a learning experience. Learn from it and then move on and apply it. That's the important part, is you have to go through that experience. You then have to apply the learning as you go forward.
The only other thing that I would say is it took a lot longer than I was expecting. Even for the companies where you were making traction and had the referrals, just the interviewing process, like to get onto people's calendars, where, we all know now how, tight everybody's calendars are. So you could have like 2 weeks in between interviews. And so it just be mindful, don't get discouraged, but it definitely took longer than I was expecting.
I mean, I think nowadays it's going to, because especially now with the job market, I think people can be pickier and they can take their time with the market the way it is.
Well, I think it's the levels, right? I mean, they're
true.
That's true.
Depending on the levels you're at, they're making there's an investment from an organizations,
right?
And especially we talk about constant change. There's an investment, and that could evolve in 6 months. So how do you balance out how much you're going to have to compensate, invest in a person versus what that next evolution could look like. So I think that's a big part of it.
And especially with roles that are more senior, it does sometimes require for the company itself to determine, do we really want this position? Do we really need it? If we're going to fill it, it's got to be a role that can move up and down, within the organization, especially up. So they are going to take more time to make decisions and to move things along. So typically, the audience that we normally gather are people with more experience. They've been in their jobs a longer time and they're looking for higher level positions. And if you do get severed or you've lost your job, how do you kind of keep up those skills when you're not actually in a job? Like, what's some advice that you would give?
Yeah, so I know we've talked about networking 1,000 times, and I'm going to put it 1,001.
Okay. 1,002.
I know, right? Yeah, exactly. But it is critical because a network isn't just about when you go meet someone, and let's say you're referred by someone else, why should that person invest in you, right? Why should they spend the time? And I like to think about it as I'm not going to go there and ask them for a job or just make an introduction. What I'm doing is picking their brain and understanding if they're in a role that has any broad relevance to what I'm doing, what are they doing and how do they go about doing what they're doing? Talk to me about the industry. I met with someone the other day who, I'm broadly in e-commerce, and the person works in e-commerce, but in venture capital. I know nothing about that space, but what did I do? I used that time to understand what are the things important to this person and what are they looking at, and he's looking to me to look at the same things. We kind of work in the same space, but we're coming at it from two different angles. So that networking and staying in touch with this person because I wanted to learn what was going on, and he wanted to learn from me. So we exchange information. So that's one important way of doing it. The second is reading, right? So, Betsy's talked about LinkedIn. I'm on there. There's people posting articles and sharing articles, and I'm doing much of the same. I love thinking about being a leader and leadership and thinking about new trends in that space. So I'm reading constantly on that. I'm also trying to keep up what's the latest in the e-commerce space and what knowledge and things do I need to keep fresh. And then I take it and link it to what do I already know, right? So using my experiences, reading a lot of articles and little tidbits, and then finally, connecting it up with, what my networks are telling me. That's how I keep, myself fresh in skill sets. Don't downplay what you already know, but connect the new to what you know. And I think that's how you keep growing and learning.
To me, a lot of desk research is what I did. Keeping up on companies, on trends, on product categories, on innovation. But one of the things that I found, I would do so much research, I sometimes would go on job interviews and I knew more about the company than the person that was actually at the company because I'd bring up stuff that had just been in the press in the last week or so, right. And they didn't even know of some of the things that had gone on in their company.
Wow.
So I would say desk research is key. The other thing is that what I decided to do, for a nominal cost was sign up for the Harvard Business Review magazines, and then you get access to all of their information, and you can sign up for emails. And so it can be on, technology trends, it can be management tips, it can be all different, there's a litany of different topics that you can have emailed out to you. So I signed up for that, it's a, kind of flat fee for the year. And then the last thing is that I had been a part of what I kind of referenced before, share groups. And what share groups are that it was an outside consultancy that set up kind of a day and a half meeting time with people that are in the same function from different companies, and you had to be non-compete companies. And then you would all come together and discuss kind of current issues or trends. And so since I, this, kind of my career, or the bulk of it has been in Shopper Insights, the group that I went to was Shopper Insights and Category Management. And in that, I got to meet people that did like roles to me in these different companies, and we would learn and build off of each other. And so what I did is I kept in touch with them, just because I, was laid off from my role doesn't mean I couldn't talk to these people. And so, in fact, two of them were ones that helped lead me to even, the role that I have now. But those share groups were truly helpful because it gave you resources into your same kind of, your function, but in different industries. And I could also bounce ideas off of them, like, oh, what do you think about this company? I saw this job listing and someone said, absolutely not. They're totally going through a restructuring. It's a nightmare. Don't go there. Or they're killing all of their shopper insights and category management budget. So, the role doesn't look that secure. So that was another way. So it was kind of that kept me up to date in terms of the function. Then all the desk research, which is really just searches and staying on top of things. And then, as I said, I decided to sign up for Harvard Business Review for the magazines and their information.
Thank you.
That was great information. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Happy to be here again.
I know.
Thanks again.
Exactly. Thanks.
Well, that's the end of our series.
Yes, it is. However, it wasn't like one of our never-ending series like branding or networking. I have to say, though, Shelley, from this series, you really understood how important networking is to finding that opportunity. Like, networking was like the key theme, and it came up in each and every one of those 3 episodes.
I guess so the bottom line, Linda, is you just can't get away from networking, right?
That's right. So, Shelley, you got to stop being a shut-in.
I guess I'll have to.
So as always, listeners, you can find the information that Betsy referenced on Harvard Business Review and share groups in our OFF Toolkit on our website, www.over50andfiredup.com.
And don't forget, you can also get our wine recommendations, too.
Which were all done by our guests in the last 3 episodes. So you'll find some other things other than red. So please give us your feedback and stories by going to our website and clicking on Contact Us, or emailing us at offnowwhat@gmail.com, or comment on our Twitter or LinkedIn sites.
And remember to follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn as well.
Thanks for listening. Bye.